somebody, I saw it on X, that somebody was talking about the fact that numbers are up, viewership numbers are through the roof. So everybody who had the kind of the rhetoric around Scottie Scheffler being boring and people don't want to watch him and watch him win, completely wrong, right? I think people now have bought in where Scottie Scheffler in interviews and so forth has shown more personality. He's just not, he's the exact opposite of what Tiger Woods was. He's a family guy. He, like, golf isn't his, like, biggest thing in life, like, where to Tiger Woods it was, and we adored Tiger for that. Where with Scottie Scheffler, I think people are starting to really appreciate the greatness of what we're seeing with him. I was talking with Dr. Lee Piccarello too about Tiger Woods, and he jumped in and he's like, Matt, with Tiger, he was head and shoulders above everybody at that time mentally.
I mean, is it another golf tournament, or should you be rewarded handsomely for and given strokes for how well you did all year? I don't know. I think
they had built it up so much over the past years. Season-long race. Yeah. And it's like, okay, now we're down to the end, and literally whoever wins this wins it. So, like, we know pro golf. Anybody in that top 30 could win it this week, and somebody who didn't have a single win and wins one event could end up taking the crowns. Welcome back, everybody, to Pull Hook Golf, the podcast. I'm your host, Matt Cook. Back in action tonight, we've got our co-host Buttsy here with us as well. And man, do we have an episode for you, because this is the 2025 Tour Championship preview episode. But before we dive into this special episode, we do want to give a shout out to our sponsors like we normally do. Folks, Devereux Golf, I'm wearing the hat. I got the shirt. Butsy's got the shirt on tonight. And my goodness, these guys are absolutely phenomenal. Right here in Arizona, right in Tempe, in the heart of ASU territory. And my goodness, what a great group of dudes. So, folks, support them, support the podcast. Go to DevereuxGolf.com. Utilize the promo code PullHookGolf20 for 20% off your entire order at DevereuxGolf.com. Also, we want to give a shout out to another sponsor here, which is Rokform. Rokform.com, folks. You can use the promo code PullHook2025 at checkout for 20% off your entire order. Once again, goes to supporting not only Rokform, but supporting this podcast. They did just come out with a brand new Arctic White limited edition phone case for the iPhones and Android devices. So you got to check that one out. Looks pretty dang clean. I just reached out to them like, hey, can I get one of these? Because my phone, I saw it on there. I did not look like they had my particular iPhone model. It might have sold out already. So I'm already reaching out. I'm like, shoot, I should have been on top of this one when it got announced.
Son of a bitch.
I know. I hate when that happens.
Son of a bitch.
For those of you following the 5 a.m. comeback on Instagram, some more content is coming as we have a new social media coordinator that is putting together the reels now for the 5 a.m. comeback. Today's day 62 of that. There's been a little bit of a hiccup. It's funny. I got a message from an audience member on Instagram going, hey, man, like, just been new follower, just started seeing all these stories. He's like, what's the deal with the 5 a.m. comeback? He's like, I'm motivated to wake up now at 5 a.m. and go walk my dog. But what else are you doing? And so I broke it all out for him and was like, hey, I apologize. Something happened with my trainer and mobility specialist over at Stark. So I do want to give a shout out to Stark for being a partner and a sponsor of this podcast and a big proponent behind the 5 a.m. comeback. That being said, I just got new people in today, so I will be getting back after it. I feel like I had a week-long hiatus and was supposed to be in LA last weekend, but that trip got canceled. More details to come around all of that as this content starts coming out. And then, let's get into the episode now. We've talked enough about our sponsors for a bit. The Tee-Off Report with Buttsy. We're bringing this segment right on back with Buttsy being back in the house.
Fuck, what is it today?
Man, I'll tell you what, man. I saw some new ads coming out of the Buttsy world, and one of them was quite interesting, so to speak. So I do want to ask you, most embarrassing content as a content creator, as Trot referenced, in golf. What's the most embarrassing thing you've been asked to do to date?
Oh man, there's a lot. There's a lot of self-inflicted that I didn't have to be asked to do. That was very embarrassing. But being asked to do, we did this with short par four. We did this Valentine's Day special. And we were driving all over Florida shooting this content one day about how I was going to treat my girl right, and you got to treat your girl right. And the episode basically finished with it not being a girl. It's like basically you're in the shower and you're about to have sex, and it's your putter, and it's your putter
Oh,
cover.
no.
And anyways, so there was some people that were watching this film, and I'm like butt naked in a robe out at this golf course in Florida with a cigar. No, I was smoking a cigarette, I think, and saying this stuff, and I had no idea that people were around. Turn the corner, and they'd just been sitting there listening to the whole thing, and then this guy shows up with a robe, and I had to try to explain myself. But yeah, laying in bed and then having it cut to the putter cover, and then like kind of macking on the putter cover. That was pretty embarrassing to do that on camera. It felt really weird.
That's kind of my follow-up question is, are there any moments to where you look back and you're like, man, that was so cringe. Like, why did I do that? Why did I allow them to tell me to do that? Is that one of those, or is there
Probably
something
like
else that comes to mind?
that's probably like honest God, like 75% of the shit that comes out. Especially when you watch like some of the first videos that we ever did out there at Papago. And if you've never seen them, you might think they're funny, but like if you knew me now and you look back, you're like, dude, this is what the fuck is that? Like nobody wants to watch themselves. It's a very weird feeling, anyways. I'm sure you can relate to that. Like if you go watch your podcast or what, you know what I mean? It's like I fucking sound so stupid or shit like that. You know what I mean?
It's funny because during the day I run a podcast agency, and I have podcast hosts that when they're just starting out, they are like, oh my gosh, that episode was so bad. Like, why do we publish it? And you realize really quick because, and I can completely relate, which was one of the reasons why I started Pull Hook Golf in the first place, going back over 3 years ago now. And I tell them, I'm like, listen, for the first year, I couldn't watch a single episode. I was like, oh, it's so bad. Like, it's so terrible. And really, what kind of kept me going, especially early on, was the audience members, to where I'd get a DM here and there to be like, hey, man, love your content, love what you're doing. I'm a huge fan. And so that type of stuff kind of got me through to where it's like, okay, this is going to be worthwhile. And then we hit that growth spur, and it's like, man, okay, this all makes
Yeah.
sense now. Like there's real numbers behind it. Real people are listening to this content, and that ultimately made it worthwhile. But I still like, even going in when I would do the editing, like I would do it almost in a way to where like I didn't want to remember what was actually happening. And now that like we've had editors editing the content and everything, and now we are officially under the Mission Matters umbrella when it comes to the editing of this content, that I don't look at it at all again. Like I do not want to see it. I don't want to go back
don't
and
have
like
to, yeah.
rewatch. Even the clips now are being done by the team, which is awesome. They do a fantastic job on our reels and clips. So I'm just like, yep, don't even need to like view those or anything along those lines, because they always ask me like, hey, do you want to review the content? I'm like, absolutely not. No,
Nah.
I'm good. I'm good.
That Sydney Sweeney spoof that I'm sure you're referring to. That we
You
filmed
knew.
last week.
You knew. Yeah.
That was pretty embarrassing. Are you familiar with Hozo? The organization Hozo, they own all those like super mansions in Scottsdale, like Airbnbs. Anyways,
Okay,
we were
I'm not
filming
fit
at
yet.
one of their properties. Yeah. So I'm out there with no shirt on with these tight jeans, and I'm putting the jacket on, and I'm like literally getting oiled up. And as this is going on, there's like they're digging like a lazy river, and there's like nine outdoor workers out there, and they start like catcalling and shit. I didn't even know they were out there. They're like, ah, I was like, oh shit! Like I'm pretty sure they thought we were filming a porno or something. We got all these lights and shit outside during the day, and I start taking my yeah. So that was pretty bad.
I will say this though, you have been on the health kick, and you can tell in
Yeah,
that particular like ad as to some of the stuff you're doing around that. So Butsy's always posting content, folks, on Instagram. So make sure to check out his content when it comes to his
it's bad.
stories and everything, to where he's going in the gym. Your cooking stuff is great though. Every time we're on the golf course, and I'll just mention this real fast, every time we're on the golf course, it's always, oh my gosh, you're Buttsy. I love your cooking stuff.
That does happen a lot.
It's never like, I love your golf content. I love this. I love that. It's
No.
always, I love the cooking stuff, which you
It's
do
true.
a great job with all of that as well. But there we go. We knocked the tee off report with Buttsy right out of the
That's it.
ballpark, bringing it back. Love that. Let's get right into Scottie Scheffler winning the BMW championship, and without Ted Scott, by the way. So this is the first time he has ever won a PGA Tour event without Ted Scott on the bag. So I gotta ask you, man. I mean, is he officially just the guy? Like for a little bit there, I mean, we're kind of being like, wow, is Ted Scott the greatest caddy of all time? Scottie Scheffler could be a tough bag. We know this. Like we were giving a lot of credit to Ted Scott, but now that Scottie Scheffler went out there and looked exactly like Scottie Scheffler does, without, the only other time that we've seen this is the PGA Championship, where he got arrested and then had to go, and that the one day had the replacement caddy on there. I forget the damn guy's name. It's one of Ted Scott's good buddies.
Replacement in this one?
It's the same guy. So same. It's the preacher. Gosh, I forget his dang.
It's a preacher.
Name. Yeah, so he's like
Brent
the
Grant?
tour preacher that goes around with the tour and so forth, and good buddies with Ted Scott and Scottie Scheffler, obviously a big Christian. So just really felt natural. By the way, the guy's also a really good golfer too. So there's that part to it. But yeah, Scottie Scheffler just goes out there and dominates. So are we to the point now where Scottie Scheffler, they're like, it's no longer, oh my goodness, like how great he is, but Ted Scott is the man alongside him that has to be there in order to see him perform? Like, are we past that now with this situation taking place?
Okay. All right. To your point with Teddy, so I think Scotty just wins by more with Teddy. I think he's capable of doing it on his own. I think it was a combination. I think it was Robbie Mack shit down his leg the last day, and Scotty played halfway decent. If Ted's there, he probably wins by like 8. So I think he had his B game, and it was good enough to clip old Robbie Mack.
Yeah, Mike Cromie is the guy's name. And so,
Cromies.
yeah, and good old Trot Golfer says that he would have won by 7 with God. So, I mean, once again, it goes to how good that Scottie Scheffler is, first of all. Second of all, with Ted Scott, obviously they are a dynamic duo, but Scottie Scheffler now has shown that he can win without Ted Scott on the bag. And talking about just being consistent, like literally, the dude shot rounds of 66, 65, 67, 67. And that type of consistency, folks, is terrifying for guys that are out there, because he's not going backwards, right? If he's up towards the top of the leaderboard, it's kind of like with vintage Tiger, where guys would just start to falter because they knew that they couldn't make a mistake, and they knew Tiger was coming.
He's gotten used to it. Like, it's no longer he gets in the arena and wonders if he can get it done. He fucking knows he's going to get it done. Like, he's proven that to himself enough at this point. Like you said, if he's there, he's going to stay there. He's not going to go out and shoot 75 the last day and shit the tournament away. There's no nerves that I can tell at all. So yeah,
There really isn't at this point. And it's funny, we'll get to that next. But, well, actually, let's get right into the mindset discussion, right? Because I've been somewhat critical where it's like, we've never heard about Scottie Scheffler having a mental team, right? Where there's a performance coach or a mental coach or anything along those lines, or a psychologist. nothing, right? However, I was talking with Dr. Lee Piccarella around this, who is my performance coach. He reached out to me with the 5 a.m. comeback, was like, hey, I wanna coach you. Let's do this thing. And I knew him through working with Major League Baseball teams and Major League Baseball players. So he has worked with golfers in the past. He's also the creator of Mindful Athlete Training. I will have him on the podcast at some point in the near future because the guy's an absolute riot. He's from Philly, like just an absolute like gem of a human being and really knows his shit. Like when it came down to it, like some of the stuff we were going over, I'm like, wow, this is really resonating with what Scottie Scheffler is doing because he talks about how you don't want to be on either extreme. So you don't want something that matters so damn much to you that it's like life or death, or something obviously on the other extreme that doesn't matter at all to you. You want to be somewhere in the middle in order to have and be able to perform at your absolute peak performance, because that'll keep your focus up, but it'll keep the nerves down a bit. And I think that's what we have seen from Scottie Scheffler. And I brought it up to him. Like, it seems like that is what we have with Scottie, to where he has just figured out right in the middle, where we heard it during the Open Championship, right? We heard him talk about his mindset that golf is not the most important thing in his life. And if he was done tomorrow, he's going to be more focused on being a father and being a husband rather than, you know, worrying about being this top golfer. And I think that terrified players. Like, everybody was talking about Scottie Scheffler that week, obviously goes out and gets the job done. But we also have a scenario now to where it's like, watching him this past week, it just looked like he was doing his thing. Like, there was nothing that was going to stop him from shooting
I have a
in the
theory on
mid-60s.
this. But I have a theory on this when he said that, right? And he's talking about how it's not the most important thing. To me, that's like a mental bat flip. Like, that's like pimping on everybody. It's so hard, almost in a Tiger way, where like Tiger was really poised and quiet and calm and like ruthless when he would talk in press conferences. But Scotty's kind of doing that cocky, but you can't get mad at him kind of thing in his own way, I feel like, by saying shit like that. And I don't believe that when he is on the golf course, winning the golf tournament is not the most important thing on his mind. I think that's a bunch of bullshit. Like, when he's actually out there, he wants to absolutely murder people.
So you think it was a mental game that he was playing with everybody?
I think it's a mental game, and I think it feeds his own psyche to be that way. Like you're saying, like it calms you down and it puts you in a spot where you're just elite and above everybody else almost by saying that it doesn't matter to you. I mean, that's just shitting on everybody by saying that it doesn't matter and it's not the most important thing. Guys are out there spending their entire lives, blood, sweat, and tears, and they're very open about that. He comes in and just like, yeah, I don't know, I just kind of win and like I'm just the best, and I mean, I guess that's cool. Like, what? Dude.
Well, it goes to his faith. And we were talking about it to where it's like, this might just be something very natural for him, to where like, it's not like he has a greater power that he's like doing this for versus himself versus like, but I get what you're saying, because we all know Scottie Scheffler is super competitive. So
I
it's
think
not,
there's a little bit of gamesmanship is all I'm saying.
I like that angle. And if that is accurate, I applaud Scottie Scheffler for doing it, because it clearly got into guys' heads. And you saw it. You saw it with Bobby McIntyre. Like, he had a couple shot lead going into the final round and just faltered throughout the day, just couldn't get it done. And it was just a tough scene to watch with Bobby Mack, where Scottie Scheffler was just steady Eddie. I mean, he had one hole to where he 3-putted from short range for a birdie, and it looked like, oh shoot, he's faltered. And then he ends up, I don't know if it was a hole later or not, but he ends up chipping in with the most ridiculous chip shot. And then I told Dr. Lee, I was like, man, you could see, like, to the average person watching this, they're like, wow, Scottie Scheffler has no emotions whatsoever. However, if you see Scottie Scheffler all the time, you know that you can see that, no, that's Scottie Scheffler fired up after making that. Like, he might
right
look
at
calm on the
McIntyre.
exterior, but he might be going nuts on the inside. And I think that's more of what we were seeing there with the chip in.
This is what I'm saying, bro. Did he not immediately look at McIntyre when it went in?
It's a good question. The camera angle did make it look like he did.
Looked right at him. Oh, did you see that? Like, did you? I don't know if you saw. Oh, literally to see his reaction. I'm almost positive that's what happened.
You know, it's wild too. Granted, it's not the Masters. It's not as dramatic, but the Titleist logo, kind of as it was kind of getting to that final, it was, like I said, it's not as dramatic as Tiger's, but it had that resemblance where all of a sudden the Titleist golf ball logo and then it drops and it's like, oh my goodness, we are watching greatness right now. And somebody, I saw it on X, that somebody was talking about the fact that numbers are up, viewership numbers are through the roof. So everybody who had the kind of the rhetoric around Scottie Scheffler being boring and people don't want to watch him and watch him win, completely wrong, right? I think people now have bought in where Scottie Scheffler in interviews and so forth has shown more personality. He's just not, he's the exact opposite of what Tiger Woods was. He's a family guy. He, like, golf isn't his like biggest thing in life, like where to Tiger Woods it was, and we adored Tiger for that. Where with Scottie Scheffler, I think people are starting to really appreciate the greatness of what we're seeing with him. What do you think?
I think, like I was just saying, I think it's just an alternate version of elite extreme confidence to talk like that. That's my take on it. And maybe that's just because it's coming from my psyche, but that's what I'm seeing when I see him talk like that. It's just extreme confidence to talk about a professional sport and dominating it in such a lax and unimportant fashion. That's just the ultimate flex to me.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to see. Let's see if we
I just heard
can
myself play back on here. What's going on?
So while we're waiting on Buttsy here, yeah, I've got nothing else to talk about oh, actually, the other thing that I was talking about with Dr. Lee Picciarello is Tiger Woods. That was one of the biggest things was Tiger Woods. There we go. You are back. But I was just saying,
weird when you just like you can't see your own, you know?
I was talking with Dr. Lee Picciarello too about Tiger Woods, and he jumped in and he's like, Matt, with Tiger, he was head and shoulders above everybody at that time mentally. Like that was one of the biggest advantages Tiger had, to where he knew it and they knew it. And now we're starting to get to the point to where it's like, dang, Scottie Scheffler, man. And if he can, we still see it from time to time with Scottie that he'll lose his temper a bit out there. Like we saw it at the US Open a little bit, to where he couldn't quite recover the way that he normally does. So it's still happening a little bit.
Sure.
But he's just so freaking consistent right now. And it's, in a way, it's boring, but in a way, it's beautiful because he's able to do it so consistently, right?
It's wonderful. It's wonderful to watch, man. It's enjoyable to watch when he's got a B or better golf game going, because nobody can sniff it. Nobody's controlling the golf ball that well. It's just, I just don't. You see a lot of good shots, but like you said, not as consistently as he does it. Yeah, and this brings me. I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but like I watched this. I think it's an older clip where Bryson's talking about, I hit it too high. I'm working with a ball manufacturer right now to, hopefully tune my game and whatever. I swing too hard. I'm like, dude, there's a lot of people that swing hard, and Scottie Scheffler, he's swinging. Could he swing harder? Probably. He's swinging in a fashion that allows him to control his golf ball. And I get pissed when I hear Bryson talk about how equipment manufacturers need to meet the demand of being steep or overpowering golf shots. It's like, dude, why don't you figure out, maybe take a little something out of his playbook? Why don't you figure out how to control a golf ball better? I don't know.
And that's what Scottie Scheffler does beautifully. I'm glad you brought that up. He controls his spin, and his shot control is just through the roof. And the numbers obviously prove that. But it's just wild that he is head and shoulders above everybody else. Like, he's actually doing it in a way to where it's very, like, it's an art. Like, we're watching kind of I don't know, it feels more old school golf to me than the bomb it as far as you possibly can, go find it, and then try to hit a wedge in tight and make a putt. It just feels different with Scottie Scheffler. Like, the workability, the shot control.
They play the green complexes. Like you see the ball land 15, 20 feet left. A lot like what Tiger used to do. I mean, I remember what's the par three where he swept it in from the right to that front left pin and moved it across the green like 35 feet or whatever it was. And it was, you know what I'm talking about? Where it was like 5 feet just short in front of the hole.
Yep.
Pretty classic shot for Tiger, but Scotty does shit like that where you see it kind of land left and kind of works with the green complex over to the hole. The percentages that he plays to are just better. I don't know. There's not as many guys out there doing that. Everybody's kind of either on the number or they're off. And we're talking about the best in the world, so it's crazy.
A little segue, and we'll weave back to the Tour Championship, but also this weekend, what was on was the U.S. Amateur Championships. And that was really fun to watch because obviously it's match play. Everybody, if you've listened to this podcast before, you know my opinion on match play. I love match play. It is the truest form, in my opinion, of golf because your opponent is right there. You're playing against them. It's not like you've got 64 or whatever other players that are there with you playing in a golf tournament that you can't see what they're doing. You don't know what they're up to. Like, match play is right there in front of you. And just from a pure like sports aspect, I just love match play. The best form, in my opinion, in golf. And I know others that disagree and say it doesn't play as well on TV. Again, I kind of disagree with that. But the one thing that I did see as we were talking about Scottie Scheffler and how he works the ball and so forth and has this great control, the US Am, I loved the fact that these kids were playing golf in a different way than what we see on the PGA Tour, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That they're hitting draws, they're hitting some cuts, they're hitting some wayward golf shots as well. And that, to me, it was just fun to see kind of the creative golf that was out there. And there were a few guys that were just making some ridiculous recovery shots. And again, it's kind of different from what we're seeing. And it really reminded me that, man, I wish golf would get back to being an art form versus, hey, huge headed drivers, just bomb it as far as you can. The golf ball goes straight. It's so much easier to hit than back in the day when we had a Titleist 975D, you know, with those tiny heads. I think instead of rolling the golf ball back, I'm a big proponent in just having the head of the driver coming down in size to even less than what the mini drivers are. And all of a sudden you'd have to work it and hit the golf ball like a lot more on the center of the face in order to get it out there.
I think that they should mess with maybe not like the total elasticity of the ball, like how it jumps off the face, right? But I think they should mess with the parameters of how much it spins. For like one, guys will be able to work the golf ball a lot more. I mean, remember back in the 90s and you'd see so many shots land 20 feet behind the hole and you'd have to get that right. or short game shots that spun more, whatever. But it would also play right into the hands of guys like Scotty that know how to dead hand, which is a shot I don't even know if people play you have to play anymore, right? Like dead handing it to take spin off and stuff like that. Now it's just basically hit it the same every time and get really good at doing that.
Yeah.
Like you said. But if you had to start learning how to dead hand or give a little more risk to create spin on certain situations, blah, 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 I'm with you. But I think they could do that with the ball. I think they could make it spin more. And that would affect total distance probably unless you were able to really control it. Like if you want to hit a flat, low spin hook down there to get some yardage out of it, okay, you could do that. It doesn't just go a mile in the air with no spin, naturally.
Yeah, and I just think it has to be the driver that ends up doing that because, like, drivers are too easy to hit right now. And granted, you look at a guy that's shooting 100 and he's like, driver's the hardest club in the bag. And it's like, man, we have these huge heads now. But somebody, I can't remember which golf analyst talked about this a long time ago, that Adam Scott would have so many more wins and would be literally one of the best drivers of the golf ball and the longest if the club head remained small for drivers, because guys couldn't go after it the way that they go after it now and have the type of precision that is there, because all these drivers do for the most part is go straight or with a fade. And they're built that way, right? Bryson complained about the fact that none of these drivers are built to be able to draw the golf ball, which is what he wants to do. And to me, sorry, I'm getting on a rant here around it.
My only devil's advocate to that would be like, I don't know, if you look at the face of a tour player's driver, I mean, I don't think that wear mark has changed in 40 years. I think that's still inside of the size of a dime of where they're routinely making contact with it. So, like, again, you could change the size. I think the size lends to spin. I think it allows them to create less spin and higher launch, right? More than anything, which, like you're saying, you get more of a one-dimensional shot. You can swing harder at it without over spinning the golf ball at 130 miles an hour. And it goes further, and it goes further with less side spin, which means it's not going to go left or right as much. So to your point, if you make it smaller, I think that's what's going to change, is the ability to manipulate the launch and the spin of the golf ball. Like,
and
that's what I think.
Here's the other thing too, and obviously this is super hypothetical because of the standpoint that the golf ball is going to be rolling back. There's no talks in regards to the equipment side of it. At least I haven't heard anybody talking about the equipment side of it, where, let's face it, a really good solution would be if it was just at the pro level. So, like, doesn't affect amateurs. And I don't think the golf ball rollback should affect amateurs. I feel like that should remain the same, and golf clubs should remain the same. It's just like in college baseball versus going and playing in pro baseball.
Yeah, they play aluminum bats, wood when you get to the show. Like,
and there's a difference there. There's a big difference there. Baseball players will tell you very quickly that there's just a massive difference between the two, and that's how I really feel like golf in the traditional sense should go back to a driver that looks more like a 3-wood and start to make the golf ball move again.
Think if they had to play wood on the PGA Tour, well, you had to play wood.
Well, I also remember going back in the day, dude, to where, like, my golf instructor back in the day, like in high school, told me, hey, hit it off the heel if you want to hit a big cut, a big high cut. Hit it off the toe if you want to hit a low, like, draw. Because back in the day, like, you could work the golf ball just based off of where you want to hit it on the face too.
For sure.
So I would love to see that kind of come back. That would be fun, in my opinion. But let's get to the Tour Championship itself, and let's talk a little bit about the changes that were made. So this year, they are not starting with the 10 strokes and working their way down. Do you like that everyone is going to start at a level playing field?
Yeah. Why would you start with a lead? It's golf. It's not NASCAR. Like, what? I never understood that. What are your thoughts on that?
My thing is, I think they are moving in the right direction, because last year was a little bit boring, where it's like, all right, Scottie Scheffler's gonna win. Like, he's too consistent. He's got a lead on everybody. Colin Morikawa would have actually won the event if they had played straight up. And you just and Scottie ended up winning by 4. So you're like, okay, this needs to be changed. However, the change itself, top 30 players, like, do all 30 players deserve a chance to win this week? Like, to win the Tour Championship and be that guy? I don't know if I agree with the top 30 players, which is my next question for you. Is the field, in your opinion, for this week, too big at 30 players, too small, or just right?
How hard is it to be in the top 30 on the PGA Tour by the end of the season?
Pretty tough, but I mean, there's guys on there that, don't have a win yet.
Don't have a win, but you got like Fleetwood, you got all these. I don't even know if he's in the top 30. I'm sure he is, right? He's got to
Mm-hmm.
be.
You got Ricky Fowler in there.
If you're in the top 20, consistently and you don't win, you're fucking really good. And you're very, very close to winning. So I don't know, man. I think it holds merit, but it kind of depends on what your feelings are and what the tour championship should be. I
Mm.
mean, is it another golf tournament, or should you be rewarded handsomely for and given strokes for how well you did all year? I
Well,
don't know. I think
they
it.
had built it up so much over the past years, season long race.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now we're down to the end, and literally whoever wins this wins it. So, like, we know pro golf. Anybody in that top 30 could win it this week. And somebody who didn't have a single win and wins one event could end up taking the crown. So to me, the change isn't all the way there yet. And I know that they talked a little bit, and then Adam Scott kind of shut it all down around match play. And yes, I do think that it should absolutely be match play. And I do want to pull up here, but let's talk about that for a second. Would you rather see the final event be match play, or would you rather see it like it is, where it's just going to be a straight up stroke play event, limited field, only 30 guys?
I don't know. Like, you earned your spot at the end of the year based on consistency doing stroke play. And it's pretty well documented that the best guys at stroke play aren't the best guys at match play. I mean, there's people that will beat the tar out of a guy in their group just because they have some mental edge over them, or they have a vibe, or like all that shit goes into match play, right? Like you said,
Yeah.
you're right there in the group with them. That doesn't apply to beating somebody that tees off 6 hours from now that you're never going to see. So if you're basing the ranking off of stroke play, it's probably got to be stroke. For me personally, I'd rather, I'm with you. I'd rather watch match play. I don't know. You made a comment earlier about it not being as good for TV. Don't know how that is, because, like, I mean, I remember watching Tiger play the US AMs and like all this shit. It's unbelievable to watch
Yeah.
match play.
I think it's a terrible argument to say it doesn't work well on TV. Like,
Who says that?
Capital One has made literally or Bleacher Report now with the match, like, and they have these side off events now. Like, it's an entire production around one match. So I'm just like, they could absolutely do it. It just comes down to doing proper production around it and putting in the time that's necessary in order to really build up that final match that's going to happen. And hopefully you get a good match, right? But here is, I saw on X, and this is from the head of digital creation or digital content over at Golf Digest. This is from,
This is what it looks like.
What is his name? Jamie Kennedy. He's the director of digital content for Golf Digest, and he lives over in Scotland. So he's like, hey, this is potentially a solution for the match play that could possibly happen. That with what he was saying, this would all happen at Eastlake. So Thursday, the first round events would go down. Then you have all the top players that would have a bye. Now, the one tough thing with having a bye that we see so often in sports brackets is that the guy who just finished a match and played well is coming in hot, where the other guy who has not played the prior round all of a sudden is coming in a little bit cold, and you see upsets happen a lot within that. So I get that if somebody wants to complain about the bye setup, but the second round at Eastlake would be obviously the follow-up, and then third and fourth round leading into the title event. So you could technically get this done over 4 days, where, yeah, I mean,
all your TV coverage, all the sponsors are happy. Like, dude, that would be so sick.
Yeah, I saw another one too, to where the suggestion was that instead of having, like, the St. Jude would be the round of 64, and you could actually have like multiple days to where you're playing against somebody, or 36 holes, for instance, and have it be kind of best out of whatever, and have that all go over the 3-week time frame where it's all match play. That
Yeah.
I don't know if I fully agree with that. Kind of like this USAM style, to where the first 2 rounds of the FedEx Cup narrow it down to the final. How many players are even on here? I think 24 total. I think that would be perfect. And this setup, I mean, shout out to Jamie Kennedy over at Golf Digest in Scotland,
Pretty
because
cool.
this dude did a great job on this bracket. And I think it absolutely works. It fits. And I would love to see them go to that in particular.
And maybe to your point, cutting it even 6 guys out and reducing it to 24, there's a little more merit to, instead of being maybe 30 is a little fringe for deserving to have a chance at winning the tour championship.
Yeah, I just think it's a bit much. I don't think 30 guys with the chance to win the title makes the most sense.
Yeah. I
And
can get on board with that.
we've been against, the whole shrinking of the game and everything. I mean, we've been pretty loud in regards to that. So I would say, man, I don't even know. I don't even know what I want to say in regards to that, to be honest.
I don't think you're shrinking the game by reducing the amount of players that qualify for the end of year event. Like, it's just more prestigious at that point.
Yeah.
It's not like making it an elevated event or something like that. It's already elevated. You're cutting 6 guys out.
Yeah. It's not that bad.
It's not a big, yeah. I don't know if I'd say it's shrinking the game.
I probably wouldn't. All right, let's see here. I'm trying to do 2 things at once, where
Sure.
I am pulling up right now the odds for this week for the FedEx Cup Tour Championship, so that we can break those down and give you guys all the latest. So this is going to be from good old FanDuel Sportsbook, and the odds are as follows. So Scottie Scheffler at plus 150. That's obvious. Rory McIlroy plus 850. Tommy Fleetwood plus 1400. Ludwig Oberg at plus 1800. Russell Henley plus 2000. Justin Thomas plus 2500. Then you got Patrick Cantlay at plus 2500. JJ Spawn at plus 2700. Sam Burns plus 3,000. He was up there last week. I believe he finished in the top 5, if I'm not mistaken. Victor Hovland plus 3,000. So is Colin Morikawa, who would have won last year if this setup was the way that it was. Plus 3,300 is Cameron Young. Sepp Straka at plus 3,500, along with Bobby Mack. You got Hideki Matsuyama at plus 4,000, along with Ben Griffin, Keegan Bradley, Maverick McNeely. Corey Connor sits at plus 4,500 with Harris English. Harry Hall at plus 5,000. Justin Rose, who won 2 weeks ago, at plus 5,500, along with Chris Gotterup. Akshay Bhatia at plus 6,000. Shane Lowry at plus 7,000. Brian Harmon plus 8,000. Sungjae Im plus 8,000. And then we got the 10,000 sitting with Nick Taylor. Jacob Bridgman at plus 12,500. And Andrew Novak at plus 15,000. I was mistaken, by the way, previously when I mentioned Ricky Fowler. I clearly did not watch the end and see exactly where Ricky finished in terms of the points. I know he was right on the border of getting into this. So I mentioned earlier that he was in, he is out officially. But who are you liking there, Buttsy, with the guys and the odds that I went over?
I really want to go with JJ, but I think I'm going to go with the past champion, Morikawa.
Oh, I like your spin there with the past champion Morikawa, because he would have won if it was set up in this fashion. The one guy that I would love to see win it, and I would have no problem whatsoever if he does win it, and it is his first victory ever on the PGA Tour, Tommy Fleetwood. I'm going Tommy this week. I am going to join the people who have absolutely sunk a ton of money into Tommy Fleetwood and have never won because they just keep dumping money into him. I'm joining that. I feel like
He's gonna get beat up in public or something. Like, there's got to.
it's like one of the slot machines when you go to a casino and you see that people have just loaded it up and the jackpot has gotten so huge. You're like, oh, I got to go hit that machine. I feel like that's Tommy Fleetwood
That's
this
how you
week.
feel about it.
I mean, he's been playing great. He's in form. And I mean, what better opportunity to get the elephant off of his back, so to speak, by winning the Tour Championship? Then nobody can say Tommy Fleetwood is a choke artist or anything along those lines. And he will officially have the elephant off of his back. And I think he's close because his game's in form. And the more times that you put yourself in that position, the more likely you are to start looking at it as an opportunity instead of a chance to fail. And I think he'll finally get over the hump.
At some point, you would think so. That would be a great story. But I don't see it happening. But that'd be a great story. I hope it happens. That would be lovely.
I'm putting it into the universe. I want it
Are you going to bet on him?
happen. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's why I didn't pull up my, I was going to share my screen to FanDuel, but it shows everything in there. So like when you, the money and everything, and I hit a parlay on the UFC fights last weekend. So I do not want to show that at the time being. Let's,
I think if Scotty's within 3 after day 1, that he wins it. So
I like that. And again, final verdict on the format. I'm fine with it for this year, but I would love to see it go in the final rounds at East Lake to be match play. I want it so bad. I'm putting it into the universe. The TV coverage could be done properly. And maybe you even shrink that down from 24 guys, right? Maybe because
16.
When I was doing the math, I think one of those rounds you would have to play twice. Or not rounds, but you would have to play 2 brackets slots on a single day. Like you would have to play 36 holes.
Would you rather take the bye or be the guy that could either be out or come off hot?
I would just want to get in, and then I'm firing on all cylinders. Like I want to be the guy in the very first round that all of a sudden I play well, I beat a guy, get into a rhythm, and all of a sudden next day I'm playing let's say that I just squeezed in and I'm playing against the number 1 golfer in the world, Scottie Scheffler, but I just won my previous match the day before. I'm ready to go. I think that is the best way to go. I think the guys that have the bye are actually at a disadvantage.
Okay. There it is.
Yeah. All right, we got to talk a little bit about LIV Golf drama. We're bringing back some of the old school content that we used to do, and LIV Golf used to be the one. I get it all the time. They're like, when are you going to bring back the LIV Golf segment? Because we always talked about LIV Golf, and even though like I would watch the events and try to support LIV Golf as much as possible, I was also a realist within it to where I'm like, I'm not blinded by all the propaganda and how it's the greatest thing on the planet. They got the absolute best players in the world, that it makes all the players that much better and blah, 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 blah. All the stuff, all the propaganda that came out around it. And mainly a lot of that came from fans, but also came from the broadcast too early on. And I get what they were trying to do, right? They were trying to separate themselves as the elite premium product. That being said, though, we were always kept it real when it came to LIV Golf. And people have been begging me to bring it back. It is back this week because there's actually some drama that is going on with LIV Golf. We're going to be fair, but we're also going to, we're not going to be haters. The individual championship ended this past weekend where it was actually on Fox Sports 1. So the first piece of drama that I will bring up is the final round goes to a playoff. Fox Sports 1 cuts coverage. Unless you paid your $76 or whatever it was for the LIV Golf app.
You won't get to see it.
So any general fan that was watching on Fox totally lost the ability to watch Jon Rahm in a playoff against Sebastian Munoz. which Munoz this weekend shot 59 and literally just went on an absolute tear. And I believe it was a 59 with a double bogey, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I popped it on a few times. I'm like, holy crap, this guy's going absolute Yahtzee out there. So shout out to Sebastian Munoz for some great golf and lab golf as the putter that he was using in order to get that done. But Jon Rahm ends up losing in the playoff, does not win in a single event all year. And people know I like Jon Rahm. I'm a big Jon Rahm fan.
Mm-hmm.
But I do not think that he deserved winning the individual title.
18 motherfucking million.
And a ring from, what's the
Baller.
jewelers?
Ben Baller.
Ben Baller. Yep. And that's a sick ring, too.
It's 2 rings.
Yeah, a ring inside of a ring. You kidding me? You kidding me?
I don't, maybe I don't have a good concept of how the points and all that. I mean, there's got to be an explanation. Obviously, they gave me $18 million for not winning. But, yeah, I don't know. That's a lot of fucking money for not winning. That's all I got to say. I'm with you there.
Dude. Granted, people will say, well, Jon Rahm was so consistent all year round, which is accurate because Jon Rahm's always going to finish in the top 10 for a LIV Golf event, right? Yeah. He's too damn good not to finish top 10. But Joaquin Niemann, and this goes to show you that they are not weighting the wins heavy enough. Like, the wins need more points is what it comes down to. Yeah, because he had 5 wins. 5 wins. How many events does LIV Golf even have on the calendar?
14 or something like that.
Like, that's almost half the events. My math's not very good, clearly, but
it's good enough. That's fucking crazy.
It's nuts. He wins almost half the events and loses the individual title. So, of course, the haters were going nuts on X. The poor LIV Golf fans that are out there, like the hardcore ones, just defending to their core that it's fair. It's so fair. Like, there's nothing
really
wrong with
that?
this. Oh, yeah.
Are people really doing that? Like, who is doing that?
And of course, they bring up Bill Haas winning the Tour Championship 14 years ago. That's why the FedEx Cup changed, folks. And then others are saying, well, it's still a startup. Is it absolutely perfect? No. So here's the thing. You should have learned from the PGA Tour with the whole Bill Haas situation that happened 14 years ago. It goes to show that the people running LIV Golf do not remember history very well when it comes to these types of situations. So yeah, it was just, they're going to make changes. They have to.
Here's what I want to know. Was it close? Like, was there, if John doesn't play
super
that good,
close.
It was like close enough where like Joaquin almost won it. Like, if John doesn't play that good, we're not even having a conversation.
Joaquin Niemann finished in the top 10. Like, it wasn't like he played bad. That's the other thing he did. He didn't choke. He was up there. I don't know exactly where he finished in the top 10, but like, he was up there. So
that's what I'm asking is, like, I'm just curious, how close were we not to having this conversation about
and
John?
I'm just like wondering too, like, what events did Joaquin Niemann not play well since he won 5 events? Like, did he finish outside of the top 20 in multiple events? I don't think so. No. I think he was close to being in the top 10 in every event.
But his team, that's what it's weighted on, right?
No, this is all individual.
What? Then this doesn't make any fucking sense.
It doesn't make sense, dude. Which is why
about it.
It's drama, and of course, like, you could point at the FedEx Cup that it's still not done figuring it out. So this isn't an easy thing by any means. But I also want to bring up the other aspect of LIV Golf drama, which is podcast drama, big podcast drama. LIV Golf, which this all happened on the Michigan Golf Live podcast, which the guy who runs this is Bill Hobson. He has media credentials for LIV Golf, and LIV Golf thought that they were going to do a little plant with Pat Perez, putting Pat Perez on there. And the way Bill says it is that Pat Perez was hand-selected by LIV Golf, that he didn't get to choose who his guest was going to be from LIV Golf that was going to come on. Apparently, there were 2 questions. I do not know what these questions were at this point. I will have a follow up to this next week potentially if it is worthy
We need
of
to know
having a follow up.
we need to know these fucking
We
questions.
need to know the questions, but apparently, according to Bill, Pat Perez has been great about it all. Does not understand why that like LIV, like he doesn't care. Which Pat, like it sounds like the way that Bill's framing it. It sounds like Pat. Like I don't give a shit. Like let the interview be. Who cares? But LIV Golf's PR team was furious with these two apparent questions that were asked to Pat Perez. And the guy refused because he's like, dude, I'm a journalist. Like, I get to ask the questions. It's my show. Like,
is it live? Can we watch this tonight?
Yeah, we can watch it. We can actually watch. He gave a link on X to the episode.
Because I think it'd be kind of fun to, without knowing, to watch
try to figure it out.
That had to be it. I wonder if there's like an aha moment.
Yeah, we might have to do that.
Not to pump up Bill, in his pod, but
well, let's pump up Bill in his pod. Why not? A fellow podcaster.
Like,
I do too, because he said it wasn't even like he was just having a conversation with Pat, and so he was very shocked by it, but he refused to take it down because he's like, no, this is journalism. Like, you don't tell me what to do for my show. This happened on the show. So what does LIV Golf do in response? They revoke his media credentials for the final event, the team championship that he was going to be on site for, that he already had credentials for. They revoked the credentials. So now this is starting to blow. This just happened, by the way, where I got tagged in a tweet around this announcement from Bill. And so this is starting to catch on like wildfire. And I'd be shocked if LIV does not do some backtracking with their PR, because this seems like a very wholesome guy. Bill Hobson just does not look like he's probably in his 50s or 60s and is just like, loves the game of golf. Like, just, he comes across as a super genuine, like, Michigan guy. He probably does the hand thing, probably points like, I live over here type of deal.
Yeah, and right here.
I was flabbergasted. This happened probably 10 minutes before we came on. And I'm like, I started digging a little bit before coming on, and I'm like, we need to add this.
Yeah, this is very intriguing. I got to know what was asked. Like, is this, gosh, I can only, prospect. That's not the word, but who knows? I'm gonna go watch it right now.
I mean, are we doomed in the game of golf if a league has that type of, like, if they're protecting everything that gets said, even minute things? Like, now we look back to every interview that's ever been done around LIV Golf, and now it's literally fact that everything's been staged.
I mean, yes, I think life is doomed. I think that's happening, not just in LIV Golf, but with everything.
Yeah, we used to think about this with the PGA Tour. Like, we've been critical of the PGA Tour's media and so forth, that everything is like just
mafia. They're like the mafia.
There was indications that these guys can't talk. And we were supposed to have a couple guys on from LIV Golf back when we were still pro LIV Golf, so to speak, even though that we were like trying to play the neutral line, and then they got pulled. They couldn't come on to the show. So it's like, okay, this is interesting. So we've already been kind of privy to this, but to see this unfold and now it's public.
I did a little side piece here. Talked to AK via DM the other day about what his plans are coming up, because I think him and a few others are actually relegated. There are no wild cards, like none of that. Like, there's like 10 guys or something like that are no mas. They're gone. They're out. They got to go to whatever LIV's version of Q School is, and then I think the Asian Tour is a qualifying site. If I'm not, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting. He said more to come. Not sure yet. So we'll see.
I still want to see what's going to happen with the damn captains, because captains being relegated, they just put themselves right back on the team. So it happened last year with Bubba Watson. He just put himself back on the team. I was talking about that as kind of being something that I really like. It defeats the purpose of relegation.
Yeah.
And this year it happened again. So we'll see what ends up happening. I believe it was Henrik Stenson which Henrik Stenson's a big name. Like, that's a guy you don't want to lose. So I'm sure he's going to be right back on the Majestics. I'm sure there's nothing's going to happen around that. And it's still going to defeat the purpose of relegation, especially when it's a captain. They should just make captains exempt if they're going to do that.
Well, I guess the curiosity for me is not because I'm watching it, and I want to watch them play out there. I mean, I guess sometimes it's fun, but for some of these guys, it's like, okay, your golf career's done. Like, you're into the twilight now. You're not playing anymore.
Yeah.
I think type deal.
Yep.
So, like,
I
that's
think
the last
Phil
place
might be
they're
done after
stopping.
this year.
Think so?
He's given hints around the fact that this might be the last.
Well, his most recent wrong bet via tweet didn't go so well.
With Scottie Scheffler?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it was Dan Rapp. No, was it Dan Rappaport or was it somebody else?
There was a ton of people that lit him up.
But somebody
for that
had
shit.
him on the show and they brought it up. I'm trying to think of who it was. Oh, you know who it was? It was Barstool and it was Big Cat. Big Cat asked Scottie Scheffler, what do you think about that tweet from Phil Mickelson at the beginning of the year? And he brings up the tweet, reads it to you. He's like, oh, I'm fully aware of the tweet. And he's like, yeah, that didn't age well, did it? And so Scottie Scheffler was getting into it a little bit as well around that whole entire thing and was just kind of chuckling about it all. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe from that tweet alone, maybe Phil should just never do that again.
Just maybe, yeah. Good try.
Yeah, good effort.
Probably had a lot of money on it, to be honest.
He might have.
Probably had a lot of money on that. Yeah.
That's probably one of the things that the Saudis just don't care about. They're like, hey, we paid his gambling debts. Like, let him. He can gamble while he's still playing. Don't really care.
Yeah, how's that PR getting out there? And I mean yeah. And we got to know what these questions are for Pat. We
got to figure out the two. I think you gave some good homework though. I think everybody needs to go without knowing the questions and just watch that podcast episode with Pat Perez and see what those questions, or try to guess at what those two questions were.
Yeah.
I'm sure that like you're going to have to do some spoiler alerts around like trying to not see anything that gives it away. But man, and I will say this, I'm going to give credit to Pat Perez. He has naturally moved into the booth and has been pretty good. Or is he in the booth? Yeah, I believe when I was watching, he was in the booth, not on the course. He started as kind of an on-course walking around and stuff. He probably was like, fuck, I don't want to walk around.
I ain't walking around out here. It's fucking hot.
But he's actually done pretty good in the booth. I actually enjoyed some of his commentary during that. He kind of gives me Matt Every vibes.
Very good.
Yeah. All right. That pretty much wraps it up. Any final thoughts, Buttsy, before we head off?
I don't know. It's something about Tuesday nights at this time. I got to poop. Don't know how this happens. Eating a lot of protein right now, and I'm sitting on an absolute beaver dam. So
hang on a second. Kyle over at Car Barn Guys brings up, did y'all talk about y'all's co-host second place today? Did you play today?
No.
Oh, he's talking about Brent Grant.
What did Brent play in?
What did Brent? So hang on a second. Trot Golfer also previously, I missed this. Brent Grant, second place, Asher Tour, second day, 2-day event.
Good for him.
Hell
He's
yeah.
gonna get a text.
Yeah.
He send him some butt cheeks.
Brent was supposed to be on tonight. He actually, his coach needed his help. He's moving into a new place. So Brent being a good guy that he is, goes out there. Brent gets a bad rep. But Brent is a good-hearted dude and really is helping him move. He asked me if it was okay. And I was like, absolutely, man.
He means very well.
Absolutely.
Love that guy. BG. Probably watching right now. Got a couch on his back, watching on his phone.
Love that. He'll be back on soon. But until further ado, folks, let's give a shout out to our sponsors once again, DevereuxGolf.com. Utilize the promo code PullHookGolf20 for 20% off your entire order over at DevereuxGolf.com. Folks, if you want head covers, hats, shirts, golf polos, I mean, the works over at Devereux Golf. They've got the coolest stuff. So go over there, utilize that promo code, support your podcast in Pull Hook Golf, and also get some gear at Devereux Golf at a discount. We also want to shout out Rokform, which this is the speaker that I tout. This is the one. This is the bad boy that you got a little clip that you can clip this onto anything.
Okay.
I forget what these are called.
That's the Mac Daddy.
Yeah. And then it attaches to your golf cart. 24-hour battery life, which I love. I can't recall the last time I charged this thing. And I use it all the time. So
I'd like to tape that to my head, use it as headphones.
For a little bit, when I first got it from them, I was carrying it around the house, and my wife was like, "Can you stop carrying that around like a boombox?"
I like it.
I'm like, I kind of feel the vibe of like 90s hip hop carrying a boombox around and bopping and weaving out there. But yeah, utilize the promo code over there at rockform.com, pullhook 2025. So pullhook 2025 for 20% off over there as well. And until next time, folks, peace out. A-Town down.